Notice of this meeting of the Township Committee has been provided by notice sent to the official newspapers of the Township, posted to the Township website, posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, and filed with the Township Clerk as required by law on January 6, 2026. Ms. Casper Bloom?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Denton?
Here.
Mr. Nardi?
Here.
Mayor Dundis?
I'm here. Will everyone stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Mike, I just have to say, with the Girl Scouts leading it, that was the best Pledge of Allegiance
That
we've
was-
had so far.
agree.
That was great, girls.
Yeah, they didn't miss a word, for sure. All right, there's some announcements. They're on the agenda. You can review through those at your convenience. It looks like there's still a few spots, though, for summer playground, if anybody's interested in that. And the municipal offices are closed on Juneteenth, which is obviously June 19th this year. July Recycling Depot is going to be on the 11th, not the first week. Dumpster permits are still available for July. And the first month of dumpster service went well, by the way. Couple bumps in a row, but it went well. All right, open to the public. This meeting is now open to the public.
Items on the agenda.
What's that?
Agenda items.
Open to the public for agenda items only.
I am delighted to
Can you just
congrat.
name and?
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
Joan McGee,
Okay.
East Amwell resident. I am delighted to honor number 8, the Girl Scout Troop, for their Bronze Award project. I was a Girl Scout from kindergarten through 12th grade in the 1960s. I was Girl Scout leader for my daughter till she graduated Hunter and Central. I was also a Boy Scout leader, and I know how much work you did, and I applaud you for all the work you've done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Anyone else for agenda items? All right. Hold on, what's that? Seeing there are no more further comments, I'd like to close the meeting to the public without objection. All right, item number 7. I need a motion to approve the minutes for the May 13th, 2026 executive and regular session meeting.
So moved.
Bev and Al.
Mike, I do have a couple comments.
Sure.
So on the executive minutes, in the Amwell Valley Ambulance Corps section, at the end of the section, but before it says a brief discussion ensued, I think the minutes should capture one thing that was not in there, and that is that this is when Mr. Miller was updating us on Rescue Squad. That Mr. Miller admitted that AVAC has not been able to raise sufficient funds, handle more calls, or provide monthly reports to the township every month without the township asking.
Okay.
And on the, are we doing the regular ones together?
Yeah, yep, it's together on this.
So I have a couple.
Are we able to make those additions?
I can
on
make
that?
the changes.
Okay.
And I can send verbiage
Okay.
if the committee's good with it.
Yep.
I have 3 comments on the regular. So in the ordinance 26-11 section, the minutes should reflect that you, Mike, answered 2 questions posed in the public hearing segment by explaining that the types of items allowed in the dumpsters are listed on the township website, and that and confirming that the recycling depot is in fact limited to East Amwell residents. Those
Okay.
are 2 questions that folks had mentioned that I think should be captured.
That's fine.
In ordinance 26-12 section, in the sentence that says, quote, "A motion of Mr. Nardi, second by Ms. Jenna Casper Bloom, carried unanimously, was moved to carry the adoption and public hearing to June 11th. I think instead of using carry twice, I think we should just say that the motion was to adjourn the adoption date and the public hearing date. And then, and I think that's it. I guess there were 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, here's the third one. I didn't summarize what it was, but I recall in the 2026 municipal budget section of the minutes, Mike,
Okay.
you made some introductory comments on the budget
Okay.
before we considered those. And I think your comments were really helpful and should be summarized
Okay.
at the beginning of that. So those are my suggestions. And I guess I would ask Bev or Al, whoever made the motion, if they'd be willing to amend the
Absolutely.
motion to include that.
All right.
Motion to include Township.
You have access to all that, right, Linda? We can
Yeah.
we can
And
make
I'll
those changes.
send Linda my exact verbiage so she'll have it.
Okay. All right. So let's, we'll make the same motion just with those changes?
Yep.
Okay, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Oh, do you need a roll call?
No.
Okay. All right, special discussions. It looks like we have a bunch of young ladies here that are here to tell us about their Bronze Award project. You guys want to come up to the podium? I don't think they need to tell us their name. but just- Yeah. Yeah. So just announce like your troop number and where you guys are from. You don't have to give us like all individual names and so.
Unless you want to.
Hello,
Do it.
Township Committee. We are representing Junior Troop 81402 from East Stanmore School. We are here tonight to give a proposal in support of earning our Bronze Award. Let us introduce ourselves. I'm Madeline Jemet.
Francis Nicholas, Madeline McNamara, Gianna Perpetua, Belle Romo, Brielle Perpetua, Lillian Devine, and Emily Vaquera.
Okay.
Wonderful.
For our Bronze Award, we would like to install bee boxes at Clausen Park. This project will address an environmental need, provide a long-standing solution. The bee boxes are beneficial in many ways. They help native bees have a safe space to live. They have suffered severe habitat loss. It helps flowers grow and keeps our community beautiful. It will also ensure that bees have a home in the park and not in the local neighbors' homes.
We noticed that there aren't any currently in the park, and for our project, we would like to add 3 houses, placing them in the center of the pollinator zones so anyone who's allergic doesn't have to worry.
A bee box is a box about 12 by 8 inches big with holes on the front side and a roof. It looks like a hotel for bees. There will be freestanding boxes on a pipe and can be removed as needed.
We plan to build 10 boxes total. We will install 3, 1 in each of the pollinator zones, and have some backup for the park so that we can replace them as they break down.
If this proposal is approved, our troop will fund the project. Our timeline is to have the boxes completed and installed by this August.
Thank you for your time and consideration. We hope we can work together on this project. Do you have any questions for us?
Well, first of all, that's what I said. I don't have any questions other than, first of all, you guys did a terrific job with the project and your explanation. Can you tell me how you thought of the idea? Anyone know? Oh, that's right.
okay.
We had a lot of different ideas, and
Yes.
we thought they were all great, but we thought the bee boxes would be the best idea that would really help out our Clausen Park, and it would also help the bees.
Yes, it would. Thank you
I'm
very
just
much.
curious, what kind of bees live there? Because they're all right now burrowing into my fence. So will they go to your park, I hope? Huh? What kind of bees do you think go? Carpenter bees or
It could be any
Yep.
bees.
Yeah.
I mean, any bees are welcome.
Any bees are welcome?
Unless if they're wasps.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there are a lot of bees, like honeybees and wasps and
Yes.
leafcutter bees, so we're not really sure.
They're not welcome in my
Welcome
fence.
the bee hotel.
They're drilling holes in my fence.
So, since you're working on your Bronze Award, how many hours do you have to put in to earn this project or award? Do you guys know?
A lot.
I don't think it's a specific number of hours, but I think it's just the planning, the presentation, the making different and then executing.
It's a lot of work for Bronze Award, I know. Have you guys tried to build one yet?
We haven't built them yet, but we're going to.
Okay.
It's probably a kit, right? Yeah, I think maybe there's a kit you could buy. You're gonna build them from scratch. You guys don't know.
Scratch.
Oh, scratch, wow.
Well, I have absolutely no problem with the bee boxes in the park. I don't think we even need to vote on that.
Well, I think we should take a motion because I
Okay.
think the girls did a
You wanna
really
ask
great
her?
job. So I would,
Sorry.
I would
Go ahead.
sponsor a motion to approve their project.
Okay. Ally, you're from environmental, any concerns, issues?
No, absolutely. I think it's fantastic, especially since we'll be having the rain-based
Yep.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the bee boxes?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Anybody second?
What happened to my motion?
Yeah,
Did you make a motion?
Did.
Did?
That'll second Dante's motion.
Oh.
I'll
There we
second
go.
Al's motion.
I didn't hear the motion.
Teamwork.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Need a roll call
No.
for the bee boxes? All right, you got
I'll
your bee
say
boxes.
Congratulations.
Just, somebody just communicate with us before you put them over there, just so we know.
yeah.
You expect them in the next weeks or months, or?
They said
Oh,
August.
did you say?
Yeah, yeah, the second to last presenter actually
What's
presented.
that? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I'll shut up for the rest of the night. I'm just gonna read what's on here and be
Jason will have
quiet.
to help with the installation and,
Yeah, probably, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. You girls are all set. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Take
you.
care. All right, next item is we have the Lambertville Mayor, Andrew Novick, is here to visit us tonight to talk to us about a regional grant opportunity. Come on up, of course.
I'm not gonna do this.
You're gonna have to top that.
Well, thanks for having me this evening,
Thanks for
Mayor,
coming.
Deputy Mayor, committee members. I appreciate the opportunity to come and chat with you for a couple of minutes, and not to put any pressure on you to move forward with this application, but I did decline an invitation with the governor tonight to be here. So we were supposed to go to a party. I said, no, I'm going to East Amwell tonight.
Did you really turn the governor down for us?
What's that?
You really turned the governor down for us?
I really did.
That's municipal collegiality.
It is.
We appreciate it.
So I just wanted to come and speak for a few minutes about the opportunity to participate in a regional resilience opportunity. So the excuse me, sometimes I get a little nervous, which is weird. Resilient NJ now has a regional assistance program that provides grants for regions in New Jersey to promote and develop strategies to work together to develop all kinds of kind of good action items for resilience planning. Lambertville was awarded in 2023 the opportunity to do a resilience action plan through the state, and I think that the regional plan basically mirrors kind of what we went through, which was about a year and a half long process in which we were assigned consultants who came and worked with the municipality to identify climate change related hazard vulnerability assessments, which is now a requirement of the municipal land use law. We've got about 30 pages of that in this document that identify all of our critical infrastructure and what the potential threats are, and ways in which we can kind of mitigate those threats. So that process was about almost a year and a half from start to finish. It had a public participation component, as does this regional project. So the regional project, the applications due the first week of July. Lambertville has offered to be the lead or the prime agency overseeing this grant. So we will do all the grant administration for all the municipalities and the the community-based organizations who participate. Resilience is something that I've really worked on since I was elected in 2022. I came into office right after Ida had struck, and so it's really been kind of a cornerstone of my mayorship and my administration. And moving forward with the grant, we currently have Delaware Township, who is committed to it, West Amwell, Lambertville, Hopewell Township. I'm going to go to Stockton on Monday, and also East Amwell potentially. We also have the Watershed Institute, who is committed to doing this, and the Sauerland Conservancy. So it's a great group of communities. We also have support from the county planning office for this. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. The one or two things that you would want to know as a municipality is that this program will satisfy your municipal land use requirement to generate the climate change related hazard vulnerability assessment. So you get that as part of this program, and a lot of data as well. We got a lot of late century modeling for Lambertville in terms of potential flood risk and so forth and so on. So each individual community will have components of the grant that will satisfy just kind of their needs, but then there'll be a lot of conversation about how we can work as neighbors to further resilience across the region. So, for example, Lambertville is, our regional, our resilience action plan is this, and some of the strategies are really dependent on cooperation with West Amwell, who are upstream. So, the regional approach will identify some of those key strategies in each municipality, and how what you do here is related to your contiguous neighbor. I think it's going to be a great program. I'm really excited about it. I wanted to see if you had any questions about it, or were interested in potentially applying. So the application for each municipality has to be done separately. It's about I think it's a 2-page application. It's very straightforward. And all you have to do is submit the application, and then a budget, potential budget. The grant does not cover costs associated with professionals like your engineers, but it will cover staff time, DPW consultation time, anything you have in terms of your stormwater. A lot of this will center around, I think, stormwater and flood.
Is there potential, Mr. Mayor, to recover some stormwater management costs in this grant?
Not necessarily the cost, but it will open you up to understanding what grants you might be. There is support for grant applications as part of this program, and there'll be a lot of conversation about stormwater management. So, one of the things Lambertville just did, a strategy, we just signed shared service agreements with Frenchtown, Stockton, and West Amwell for street sweeping services as part of the MS4 Tier A permit. I assume were you always were you a permit B?
No, we moved
You
up.
moved it when we did as well. And for all of the municipalities who were going to take part in this, it was a huge undertaking. I was literally spending 20 hours a week for the first couple of years of my mayorship just working to satisfy those. I did all the mapping of our storm drains, 575 storm drains. So a lot of the stormwater management work that you have to do, I think, will be. It doesn't look like it's definitely going to be a part of the conversation and a part of the strategies long term in terms of what you may need in terms of capital investments and what you may need otherwise. And some of these strategies that they come up with, like in Lambertville, we have strategies that are as simple as sort of riparian planting, riparian buffer planting, which is we've already gotten lots of grants for and we're doing actively now. Some of them are more complex, but there's all kinds of things that come out of these grants that are both practical, approachable goals and also longer-term kind of sustainability goals and resilience goals. So, and I'm really excited to see kind of what happens. I've been very focused on Lambertville, of course, as you are with East Amwell, but I live in the region, I drive through your town, I drive through these towns, and I don't have a real appreciation for kind of some of the issues that you'll be facing, right? Whether it's, how you manage your zoning, or what how do you protect your farmland, how do you protect your open space? I mean, these are all things, and our needs are going to be different from township to, from municipality to municipality. So I think it's really a great opportunity. We all know that rain doesn't respect political or geographical boundaries, for example, knowing where there's a cooling center, kind of, we know there's some way up in Flemington, and we've got a couple in Lambertville, but it just will foster, I think, a lot of good community spirit among the various municipalities who participate.
So, as soon as we got the email on it, I mean, I don't see a downside. I asked Bev to follow up on it, and she's got, at least had the meetings with you guys, and her brief to me was, I don't see a downside. My only concern is Bev's leaving us in January, and who's going to pick up the ball after.
But this is for the first phase.
Right.
So this is for, what's really interesting is, this is for the planning.
Okay.
So
Right.
this is the grant for the planning, that for a small town to be able to, we have professional consultants who specialize in climate change, who are gonna put together a plan for us, which that's priceless. If we had to go out on our own and hire someone to put together that plan, it would be expensive. This is, and it's the watershed. So each individual little town trying to put together their own plan, it doesn't make sense. So to be part of a bigger group but get something that's tailored to East Amwell
makes sense.
is really important, and it's an interesting opportunity. And then, like a lot of these, phase one is getting the plan. And then when you asked about, some of the stormwater monitoring,
there's always the potential that once the plan is in place, that then we would have the opportunity to get another grant that would be implementing the plan, which then in theory, you know, I'm making that up, in theory, you know, we could get funds for that.
Well, it
Yeah,
does sound like there's opportunities for grants along the way. This opens up another lane to find
Absolutely.
grants.
I mean, I think that this, for Lambertville, it provides a framework. It's here, it's on my desk, I see it every day. I know what has been, you know, what the professionals have said about, you know, this, that, or the other thing. And we can always be mindful of it, right? And we can plan as we're able. And we have gotten a number of grants, I think, directly because we now know what we need to be doing.
Yeah, I think that alone is priceless. The
Yeah.
opportunity
Yeah.
to be in this lane for these opportunities is good. So
Yeah, and Andrew was nice enough to share that plan with me, so like I kind of went
Yeah.
through and I was like, this would be like amazing for us to have.
so just copy his, put our name on it. We're good.
And it's a little bit different, because like they do show like the flooding
Oh,
in,
we
in
don't have that.
Lambertville,
Yeah.
and, like people may not think that that's really us.
So we've got 30 pages of our you know, of our hazard vulnerabilities and 36 different sites identified. So they'll go site by site, your municipal building, your emergency services building, is anything near a creek, is it subject to, you know, and they'll go through all of that, and then they'll address all of the hazards or potential hazards related to any of those things. So it really is an incredible amount of data, I think, for anybody who's participating.
So what
And
do you need from us, Mr. Mayor,
all-
tonight? Just of
all,
like some
all-
kind of
all we need
committee
at the
vote?
moment is, we just need, you know, you don't have to do a resolution or anything like that. We just need to, I mean, it would be nice to have a verbal commitment before tomorrow that we're gonna move forward and just submit the application. If the grant is, awarded, at some point you will need to do a resolution of support for the grant. And as I said, I'm here to help as much as possible. Making this this is gonna be something that I'm probably gonna spend a great deal of time on personally, but I really believe that this is the next step. Once we've gotten our municipality sort of where we think it needs to be, or at least have identified the issues, that I should be working in a more, you know, in a more regional approach.
Yeah. And it's one application that has to go in on July 7th, so the groups wanted to, you know, everyone has to do their own piece, and then that goes into the one application. So anticipating that we were gonna move forward on it, I already kind of have like a first rough draft
Okay.
that I put together.
So
just
that part you
because-
can handle, the application
Yeah,
you're good with?
yeah.
Okay.
So that, because you would want the, you know, all the municipalities to have, you know, kind of something in the same vibe
Right.
at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know, if I had to wait till after this meeting to start on it, like, you know, then it's
Yeah.
really crunch
Yeah.
time.
Well, yeah,
So
that's fine.
I started on it anticipating that we would move forward with it.
Well, I mean,
And
I've
there's a big role for the environmental commission also
Well,
in that,
yeah.
because
In the
a
application-
big component is,
Yeah.
you know, communication.
Yeah.
I see no downside, and I don't know why we wouldn't. 'Cause-
Well, can I ask some questions?
Yeah, of course.
So, I think the concept is really good, but for me, I just wanted to understand a little better about scope and costs. Am I correct? And first, let me say, I've known Andrew a long time and appreciate his work, and he's done great work in Lambertville, I think, on resiliency, because Lambertville is downstream from all the municipalities up here, and they got, you know, Swan Creek and the other creek just overflowed terribly, and so resilience is an important issue. So, I haven't seen the Lambertville's document or Bev's draft. So what in essence, Bev, if you'd summarize like what you were thinking of in the draft, would be the scope of the work, and then, you know, so what does it mean in terms of cost for the township in real terms? So obviously, from what Andrew said, we can get some money for staff time, but we'd have some our professionals' time. Like, do we know what the fiscal impact would be?
So for the professional time, it's really the consultants who are putting it together. They get funding separately, the consultants who put together the
The
plan.
consultants who are putting out the regional plan.
Yes.
Okay,
So-
and that funding comes from the grant.
There's a separate grant that they get.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have this grant, all right, and do we have our staff or our professionals working on any of this?
Not our staff we can,
your
so we
staff.
can have, you know, our township clerk, if we have to pass resolutions, we can have DPW, if they have a role.
But not like our township engineer or our planner or
No,
those guys?
so the grant doesn't cover any costs associated with your professionals like that. But what happens is the professionals come in and they do all of the work, right? We did this, it took a year and a half, and we didn't have to engage our engineer once.
Gotcha. And that's really what I was asking.
Yeah.
So our own individual professionals, like our engineer and our planner, aren't gonna be involved?
You won't
in that?
need them at all.
Got
What
it.
you need is you need your clerk to answer questions about, a public meeting, your stormwater, stormwater program coordinator to answer some questions. You need somebody who will meet with the consultants when they come out here to say, we need somebody to drive us around to show us what the town looks like and and highlight what your concerns
Potential
are.
places to look at.
Yeah, the consultants do everything. This grant probably was worth between $150,000 and $200,000 in consultants' time for Lambertville. And the grant itself, the broader grant, I think is, they've got a range, and it could be as much as $500,000, including the work. The most heavily funded element of the grants are typically for the CBOs. So both the Watershed Institute and the Sauerland Conservancy will come up with their individual budgets to be a part of this. The municipal budgets are not really probably not significant. Maybe a few $1,000s worth of staff time.
So when you said that as part of our application, we have to put in a budget for that, it's probably just a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, I mean, and our city clerk Cindy and I can help draft that. Very, very straightforward. And the only other thing with the application is you do have to name a primary contact or a primary representative for the municipality, and that can change, right? I mean, we know in township governments, every year or so, oftentimes there's change. So it doesn't have, it's not set in stone.
That's very helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh,
Bob.
and the other, they select in September.
Right.
So
we'll,
by September, we'll know if we have it, because there's they're giving out 4 regional grants.
and I wouldn't be surprised if they give out more, honestly. I think the grant's pretty well funded, and if they don't do it the first time, they've done, we got this on the second round, so they did a first round, and it was so successful that they did it again. So it's possible that if we don't get it the first time around, although I feel really good about the region and the nonprofits in it as well. Yeah, and then the grant probably wouldn't start until January, February, March. That's kind of how it rolled last time. We got notified in November, and really by kind of late February is when, we had our first meeting with the consultants.
So
Thank you.
we're not seeing any significant costs to us?
No, I'm not, so that's how I'm seeing it.
That's
is
what
that
I was hearing too.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like significant cost to us, and it is a good project, and it is important to be resilient, and, we have some issues, including, the flooding of some of our streams, last year and the year before, I tried to get funding from FEMA to help clean up streams, and FEMA said, oh, sorry, cleaning up streams to prevent flooding is not part of FEMA money, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. So I asked the state of New Jersey, they gave me the same answer. So if the state has resiliency funds that they're willing to send this way, at least let's figure out what the answer is to address those and other things, and then we deal with funding, so.
Well, yeah, and once you've got it, as I said, it really opens the doors into what you need, right?
Yeah.
So our Parks and Rec Commission just worked with the Sauerland Conservancy last year and got $96,000 grant for trees.
Yeah.
In our parks, right?
Yeah.
So, the nonprofits around here all have incredible grant programs, and, a couple of years ago, we got a grant for $20,000 from PSC&G, to promote a program where people reduce their lawn sizes, plant native flowers, and we pay for the whole thing, right? They pay for the whole thing. So it's there's lots and lots of opportunities out there for different smaller and larger grants as well. But knowing what you
That's
need.
mostly what I'm hearing, a lot of opportunities if
Yeah.
possible we can pursue, so.
Yeah.
I have no problem with it.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I'm happy to help in any way with the application, and we'll certainly.
So I think I say we have our verbal commitment to pursue where you're going.
Excellent. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you,
so much
Mr.
for your
Mayor.
time. I appreciate it.
You still could
All
probably
right.
make dinner, depends how late she's.
Yeah, you could try the new Mexican place right here in East Amwell.
Very good.
I don't think the governor's coming, but for that. All right.
We'll send them.
That was all good. Thanks, Bev. Bev's done
Yeah, thanks,
a
Bev.
lot of work
Yeah, thanks
behind the
for
scenes. I
doing
think
that.
there's been a
Yeah.
couple meetings that she probably isn't gonna take my phone calls anymore, but she went to some
Sonny
meetings.
will, come on, I always answer.
All right, moving on our list, special discussions, rescue squad update. We had invited leadership from the rescue squad to attend tonight, but they emailed a letter. I haven't had a chance to read through it yet. I don't know if anybody else did, but I want to give a brief update with our rescue services from what I know, what has happened in the last several weeks. The rescue squad service had these mutual aid agreements with Lambertville and with Flemington. They were up for review, and the rescue squad is no longer in a financial position to pay the fees, so Flemington is exercising their option to no longer provide the service. They gave them 30 days of daytime calls, but no longer handling any nighttime calls, effective immediately June 1st. That's a concern. I got a phone call from leadership in Flemington explaining why they made that decision. I got a phone call from leadership in Lambertville that for the moment they're standing by them, but they've requested a meeting with the Township Committee, which I have scheduled for Monday night. And I also got a phone call from the Director of County OEM in regards to the status of our rescue squad. The fact that they're not handling a significant number of calls is putting a strain on the services around the area, and they had to have an ambulance from White House handle 2 calls in East Amwell last week after 6 o'clock at night. So there was a significant delay in response time. I'd like to talk more about this, but I have to read through this. It's a 3-page letter that explains where they're at. I'm not in a position to comment on much of it, other than that there's ongoing issues. We are working towards a grant. The county just released some specs to get a grant. Apparently the township can apply for the grant, the rescue squad can apply for the grant, and the local fire department can apply for a grant. There's $500,000 of money available for the entire county, so we're working through that. I think you're gonna work on that.
Yep.
Al's gonna work on that, and we'll see where it goes. But there is concerns. I think there's a call sheet. Does each member have this copy?
Yes.
It's a spreadsheet, so it's always hard for me to read, but it appears they handled 12% of their call, 11% of their.
Yes.
I don't want to misquote something.
There was 36 East Amwell calls, and 11% were handled by the staff at Amwell Valley, so.
Okay.
Was that like
11%.
3 calls, 4
so
calls?
Almost 90% of the calls in May were handled by mutual aid. That's concerning. So I've talked to Pete Miller, the executive board member, a few times this week, and he's working on these issues with the leadership, but right now we don't have an answer. The county OEM director, Braden Fahey, asked to be included on any meetings and decisions moving forward, and I've had a long-time relationship with him, and I will bring him to the table with whoever we're talking to. So we'll have to continue to work on this issue, but the deeper letter that we can make available to the public, I just can't really comment on all of it right now because it's 3 pages, and I just haven't had a chance to go through it with any detail and understanding.
We got it at what, 5 o'clock today?
I got it when I sat down
Yeah, I
here
did
tonight
too.
because I didn't.
When I
Yeah.
came back, because I
Yeah.
left at 3, came back, found the email.
I just
printed it.
haven't had it, you know.
Yeah,
So,
so we just, yeah.
It
none of us had a
just
chance.
came in tonight, so.
Do you
I
know-
had an understanding that Pete wasn't coming, that he was gonna send an update via email, but there's more in the email than I was just expecting to process in this short time. But go ahead, Jenna.
Is there been an I don't know if you mentioned this or not, is there an update to how often they're staffing the building at all?
Well, what I know from, again, skimming through this letter, that I think they're changing their model, that they're, again, I don't wanna misquote this, but I believe they're not staffing it anymore, and they're gonna go back to a scramble system. Wait, it says provides regular staff coverage Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night from 6 p to 6 a, and then the rest of it's gonna be back to a scramble system. A scramble system means they're gonna answer the calls if they're available, so it won't be staffed. So they dropped from 6 days a week being staffed overnight down to 3 days a week, which is, again, concerning.
And dropped Saturday, right? Didn't they do all day Saturday?
I know it was six
Six nights.
shifts, yeah, six
Yeah.
nights. I don't remember if it was
Yeah, I
Saturday
think
or
it was
Sunday.
Saturday also.
You know, I had a detailed conversation with the folks from Flemington, and their reason was like, look, we can't just keep doing this for what we're doing it for. You know, we have other commitments, and every year they've promised to improve the situation, and it appears to be getting worse. So we'll wait to meet. We'll schedule a meeting. At least two of us will meet with two of us, meaning me and one other person. We'll meet with Pete and the leadership as soon as we can. Any questions? That's what I know. All right. Moving on, tennis courts. As the board knows and the township knows, we are installing new tennis courts at Clausen Park, about half of it paid for by a grant. Unfortunately, we had to close the existing tennis courts due to the state of disrepair. We had gotten an inspection report sometime, I think it was in the beginning of the year, if you guys remember. Do you remember it? And it was concerning, but not in order to close. Linda had received at least one, potentially two complaints for damage the size of the cracks, right? I think the person indicated their foot could
They
possibly.
took pictures.
Yeah, so I asked Linda to talk to our insurance risk manager to get his opinion on whether we should keep them open until the repair is made, or I should say until the new courts are built, and he sent a pretty direct email, close them now. So, you know, that was at an afternoon hour. I asked Linda to have Jason go over in the morning, lock it up. I emailed the committee. So right now they're closed pending the new construction. The new construction has been pushed back a month. It was supposed to, the demolition was supposed to start this week. We're pushed back to July 7th. That's just one of the things I wanted to talk about. The other thing I wanted to talk about is when we originally passed the ordinance, and I'll circulate this to the committee, you guys should have this in your email. When we passed the ordinance to make a multi-purpose courts, have tennis, have regular tennis, 10U, pickleball, and basketball. Well, when I started looking at the renderings of what that would look like, can't see how that's gonna work. Basketball pole would literally, for the hoop, would literally be right on a out of bounds line. So what I'm probably going to ask the committee is if we could amend our original decision to take away the basketball, because that's just not going to work. He reconfigured it a couple different ways and then tried like a half a court in the middle. It looked too busy. It just, again, my opinion, it wasn't going to work. So I'd like to probably see that taken out of there. The other thing I wanted to talk about tonight is apparently there was a grant opportunity to add to the existing grant that we had from the county for these tennis courts. It kind of died on the vine for whatever reason it was. It's about a $70,000 opportunity. The U.S. Tennis Association called me whatever night the East Amwell, do you remember what night the East Amwell boat trip was for the kids?
Last Friday.
Last Friday.
Yeah.
They asked me where we were with the grant, and I said I thought it died on the vine. Our administrator was working on it. She said I hadn't heard anything from him. I said okay. So I picked that ball up, and I'm pursuing whether or not we can get a hold of this $70,000 then we would spend less of our money. The only issue with that is we can't make pickleball if we take their money. So I don't know if that's an issue for the committee.
So Mike, I'll jump in first on this. So, I mean, I play a lot of the court games, and so I think your suggestions are both in order. I think, there probably just isn't enough space to do the basketball. And the lines get in the way. And the other thing is, in terms of pickleball, also it gets awfully busy with all of those lines in addition. And a lot of times folks who play pickleball will come out on a tennis court and be able to play without separate striping of it.
It kind of works, yeah.
And so it can kind of work, and we can see how people do it. And I think your point's right also about the opportunity to get a USTA, United States Tennis Association related grant. And Tennis Association obviously doesn't want to give money if folks are really going to be using it for pickleball.
Right.
So I think that's the logic behind that. So I think based on that, I would support, your motion to make those adjustments.
So what I'm in the process of doing now, one thing that, a hold up for this grant is we need engineered drawings, which we don't have yet. I'm working with the tennis court company to see if they have an engineer that can make the plans up to USTA specs.
Yep.
It's just, this is all the process.
Yep.
So kind of, as long as we don't start construction, which pushing it back a month is probably a good thing, to pursue this grant.
Yep.
That grant is still an opportunity for us. I can't promise that it's gonna come through, but I can promise I'll pursue it.
Yeah, no, and I think it's worth the opportunity. I know you and I talked offline about it a little bit, and I think, because one of the requirements for getting that $70,000 grant is to have engineered plans.
Yeah.
And they're slightly different from the way they're presented by our contractor. I think that makes sense, again, so it's worth a slight amount to get plans drafted up, if we're able to get a $70,000 grant.
Right.
And I think this township committee's done a really terrific job of getting so many grants for this project, because, this and the shade canopy and all the other things I think are really gonna improve Clausen Park, so I'm in favor of everything you said.
Yeah, so I think I probably shared with you, the nice lady I'm dealing with from the tennis association, she estimated an engineer's plans could cost $10,000. But I will spend $10,000 to get $70,000 any day of the week.
Right.
Seems to make sense. It's not to suggest that the engineered plans are gonna make them better tennis courts, they just need this process, 'cause
Yeah, my understanding of these kind of things is that the grantor requires that kind of detail to make sure that they're tennis courts, that they're engineered properly,
Right.
and those things. And to the extent that we get an assurance from our contractor that's happening, it's really not a bad thing. It's a reassurance for our taxpayers
And our
as well.
contractor told us they do build them to those specs,
For
but they
those
just
specs, right.
don't do the engineered plans because of the cost.
Yeah,
That,
the plans are expensive, so.
Yeah, tennis association said they just wanna assure that they want the engineered plans because this way there's no puddling in a year on the court and it looks
Yep.
professional for
And that's a
years
good
ago.
thing for our users too. If residents gonna use it,
Yeah.
it's helpful not to have that, cause that costs maintenance as
So,
well.
blessing in disguise, it got pushed back, it gives me more time to work
Yep.
towards this grant. I did not know that was still an opportunity, I thought it died,
Well,
for
I'm
whatever reason, so it resurfaced.
I'm glad you picked it up from the
So,
administrator.
Linda, for the purposes of what we've already passed, what do we need? This is a record now, or
Well,
essentially we're just, go ahead.
So I think we need to amend the resolution
Yeah.
to the vendor, because we added the basketball lines and pickleball lines on that last resolution that we did.
Okay.
So we just need to amend that resolution again, to take those off and bring it back down.
So then I would suggest let's wait to see if we can get this grant, cause then we'll have to amend it a third time, right? So the vendor had
fourth?
told me, when I talked to the vendor, I said, listen, if we cancel the basketball and pickleball, what does that look like for you guys? He said, nothing, we just give you a credit. So using round numbers, if it was $250 for this project, the basketball and pickleball were roughly like $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah.
So they would give us a $6,000 credit, but for the record keeping here,
Yeah.
we probably have some work to do, but, so rather than amend it more than once, let's see where this grant goes, if I can get it.
Okay.
And then we can amend
do
it.
it next month or August.
Yeah, well,
We
so,
have to.
okay, any concerns with any of that, Frank? Any concerns?
No, my only question would be, I assume that this would not, us taking action later on this would not slow down the construction project, right? Like we're
Once
demoing
we
the way.
pass the resolution, no, yeah, I talked to him about that, it's not gonna slow down.
So I think there's no harm, and my only suggestion for us is that when you talk to the USTA rep, that, we get a written assurance that we will get the grant if we spend the 10K.
Yeah.
So that it's not, we spend the 10K and they say, oh, it's
Right.
not a
Yeah.
Right, I
Other
think
than
that's the deal breaker, right, if it's a spend a 10,
Right.
and,
Just
you
see.
might get it, yeah, we're not, I'd rather not do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for the work.
If anybody wants to see these, I'll leave these around, it looks just too busy. Okay.
And we're
so do we need any motion here, or this conversation?
I guess not, since we're
Okay.
not amending the reso.
All right, so that's what I wanted to talk, that's what the tennis court potential changes was on the agenda, so I'm satisfied. Do you guys have anything on that? Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
we're not totally getting rid of the idea of basketball at some point.
Right.
We are kind of kicking that,
Right.
like, I
So
think that's
I was
important,
gonna
but we are
bring that
kinda
up
kick-
underneath new business.
sorry.
What's okay. I did ask the vendor, and I'll talk about it at the end, to ballpark give me a rough idea of what it would cost to build a separate basketball court.
Yeah, and I think that's a good idea. Let me share that, 2 weeks ago, I was out there, as I am on the courts, and the courts were, fully engaged.
Right.
There were kids on one playing at, doubles, and then there was a dad there with his son playing, and other people were waiting.
Yeah, we go there a lot because the kids were literally across the street. I probably can't think of a time I've been there where somebody isn't on the tennis courts.
Right.
So they're used very.
So if you have that much use for just the tennis part, you really can't put a basketball court in the middle and then take 2 courts out.
Yeah.
So I think your idea of investigating something else might be.
I just thought it was going to look different, and it just I don't
Yeah.
know where. It is what it is. So my guess on the basketball court, it would be less than half because there'd be only one court and no fencing. So I can't see a number that big, but I'm waiting for that number. All right. Let me turn the page on this. The next item underneath 8 is the Hockenberry Property Farmland Preservation. We had gotten a request from the Hockenberry family to, they want to preserve some land, and I had asked Frank to look into what this looks like.
On April 16th, Bob Hornby, who's the county planner for the Department of Agriculture, let us know that the Hockenberry Farm had submitted a farmland preservation application. And just a little trivia, East Amwell is number 2 in the county for preserved farmland.
Yeah.
4,981 acres. Delaware's number 1, so we're up there in the top area. What is needed, and part of the letter that came to us was Mike had to sign as mayor that we support the application in general theory. We're not talking yet about how much funding we're willing to put into it, or how much it's going to cost, or how much we're going to take out of our open space trust fund. But in concept, in order for the application to move forward, you have to, as a committee, say we're supportive of this application in general theory. Mr. Hornby is willing to come to a meeting to answer any questions. I think it would probably be good for the public and the committee to hear from him, fill us in on what the process is, what happens if we say we're not funding or we're not going to put some money in. It's the state and county that are going to put most of the money up. They always ask the municipality for a contribution, so even something nominal.
And that comes out of our open space trust fund. That
Correct.
I know we have
Correct.
some money in there.
So
I had an idea of what it was.
I think as we get more information about the farm, how big it is, how much it's going to add to our inventory, is it consistent with the committee's vision for East Amwell going forward to continue to preserve farmland? So what would be needed tonight is a resolution to approve Mike signing the letter that the Township Committee is supportive of the application in its infant stages.
Okay. So how do you want to word that? Can I have a motion?
Do we need a resolution? Because I have his letter here asking Mike to sign.
I don't think it hurts to
Okay.
have a formal resolution, because we're authorizing him to speak on behalf of the committee.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I would make the motion as Frank just
Yeah.
stated.
Because if I signed it and the committee's like, we don't support it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if I refuse to sign
Well,
it.
are we just doing a
They-
motion or?
When
we-
he doesn't recognize me, you can make.
I can hear you do
Oh,
it.
you heard me talk. I don't know.
It's
I was just quoting.
a motion by Dante to
And I'll
approve
second that.
Mike signing on behalf of the committee.
Make Linda put Dante
Okay,
first.
but we're not doing a written resolution,
No.
just a motion. Okay.
Just make sure Dante's first. That's all. Don't worry about the resolution. All right, so
I think Al seconded it.
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah.
I
as long as you're first, I don't want to. It's like I'm home.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, so what do we need? Some kind of roll call or?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. Thank God I'm done with that. Number 9, standing committee reports. They're in the record. Number 10, ordinance 2613, second reading and adoption. Linda, please read by title.
An ordinance of the Township of East Amwell, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, adding section 106 3C8 of Chapter 106 of the Code of the Township of East Amwell, entitled Parks and Recreation Facilities.
All right, explanation. This ordinance adds a section to the Parks and Recreation chapter of the code book to require Township Committee approval for any memorials in the park or open space prior to installation. So this isn't saying the township committee opposes memorials in the park, but we would like to know and have the ultimate say on who puts a memorial in the park. Two things popped up this year that all of us, or almost all of us, I think, were not aware of. A family wanted a memorial, two families wanted memorials over there. One was trees and one was, you're gonna see something over there called a wind phone. If you guys go to the park and walk, looks like something I used to have to pull up to and put 20 cents in. And it's a memorial for a loved one, and it's nice, right? It looks like a payphone. So
My daughter saw it the other night and thought it was really cute.
yeah, it's a nice.
Yeah.
Which is, and I'm not suggesting the committee would have said no, but I think
I'm not sure where, but-
it's at the end, like as you start to go around the trail.
Right.
But I think the committee should have the say of who gets the memorial and
Agreed.
you know.
I think we
just-
got out of alignment with that one.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
It
not.
would be an
It's
email.
fine. It's there. It's staying. But moving forward. So that's what the explanation is for that. Okay. What do I do now?
Open the meeting.
Oh. We don't have to, so that's it? That's adopted.
No, open the meeting.
Oh, sorry. All right, this meeting is now open to the public for this ordinance only. Anybody have anything on this ordinance? All right, seeing none, I'll close without objection. All right, I need a motion to adopt ordinance number 2613.
So moved. Oh,
Sure, Dante, there you go. A motion by Jenna, second by, anybody?
I'll second.
Bev. All in
Wanna get in
favor?
trouble.
That's Jenna's problem, she jumped them. All right, motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Casper Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Enton?
Yes.
Mr. Nardi?
Yes.
Mayor Dendis?
Yes. All right. Number 11, ordinance 2614, first reading. Linda, please read by title.
Capital ordinance to authorize the purchase of new or replacement DPW equipment and vehicles by and for the Township of East Amwell, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, in the expenditure of $70,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the financing thereof.
All right, by explanation, this ordinance authorizes the funding for a new pickup truck with a snowplow and a salter, proper lighting, and associated equipment for the DPW. This is something that we budgeted for in this year's budget. I believe it's replacing a 2001 F-250 or an F-350. This will essentially be a new 2026 or 2027, depending on when the order gets placed, F-250 with a new plow, new salter, new lighting, and whatever. It probably gets a toolbox along with that goes in the back. All right. Can I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 2614 with a public hearing date of July 9th, 2026? Motion by
So moved.
Al
First.
Second?
and Bev. All right, item number 12, ordinance 2615, first reading and introduction. Linda, please read by title.
Do we need an
Don't we
all in
need to
fa-
vote?
yeah, we don't-
No, not for introduction.
No.
Just,
We have a motion that
Yeah.
doesn't require approval?
yeah,
Oh,
we
it
got-
says all in favor, I'm sorry, it
Yeah.
does,
Oh.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm getting
All
ahead of
in
you, thank
favor,
you.
yeah.
It says all in favor, he's right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. No, but no roll call vote.
No.
I forgot the all in favor. Thank you. You guys have to stay on top of me for a second.
Yeah, no,
okay?
you're doing a
This
great
is the first time you've been mayor.
All right, Linda, 2615. Linda, please read by title.
Capital ordinance amending ordinance 2609 to authorize facility improvements at the municipal building in the Township of East Amwell in the County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey, to appropriate an additional $100,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund for the financing thereof.
All right, this is another ordinance to amend 2609 to add additional money to cover paving of the parking lot and to fix the roof above the DPW garage. This is something we budgeted for and was part of our 2026 plan for the municipal building improvements. All right, can I please have a motion to introduce ordinance 2615 with a public hearing date on July 9th, 2026? Motion by
So moved.
Dante,
Second.
Al, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 2616, first reading. Linda, please read by title.
An ordinance amending chapter 97 of the East Amwell Municipal Code regarding maintenance of sidewalks.
Okay. Explanation. This is the sidewalk maintenance ordinance that East Samuel has. We have gotten some complaints over the time I've been here about snow and ice removal on some properties, especially in the village of Ringo's. I had looked into it about a year or two ago, and I realized that we have no way to enforce snow or ice removal on the sidewalks in the village or actually anywhere in town. The ordinance mentioned things like junk and debris, but it never mentioned snow and ice. I worked with the Ringo's Advisory Committee, who recommended the change to the ordinance, and I had asked Frank to review it and add some language that's pretty consistent with any town that I'm aware of. All right. So can I please have a motion to introduce 2616 with a public hearing date of July 9th, 2026?
So,
Go ahead.
Mike, if I may,
Yep.
before you take a motion, I have a recommendation in terms of the wording for one section of it.
Okay.
So, in section 97-14, I would recommend amending the second paragraph to be the following, quote, "In response to a resident's submission of a written request and sufficient justification, the township at its discretion may issue a hardship exemption based on physical disability or other reason determined compelling by the township."
Okay, yeah, because we did want a hardship exemption. That's, you're
We
just
do, and that, I was just
improving the
changing,
language a little bit.
just changing the language a
Okay.
little bit, I think that captures it and would be clear. The other thing is, I did have a question, in that same paragraph, maybe Frank, you know, what's the intent of the notice requirement in that final sentence?
Where the residents shall notify the township prior to any snowstorm?
Yeah,
I
so.
think that was if they have a disability or if they're not able to do it for whatever reason, we could have DPW maybe take care of it.
Oh, I see.
So I think the notice was, you know, listen, I'm in a wheelchair, I can't
Yeah.
physically do this, and we tell Jason, you know, so the notice is keep us informed, you know,
So
notify
okay.
us.
So
if
that's,
they're-
that's separate, because I was reading it as the same thing as the request, the opportunity for them to submit a request for a hardship exemption. So separate from that,
I thi-
anytime a resident needs assistance, they should notify the township, that's what you're trying to say?
Well, I think what the intent was that we didn't wanna penalize people that are elderly or physically unable to.
We're unable to pay, you know, because they can get a service if they're
are
on.
unable to pay.
Yeah.
So we wanted to put some leniency into this ordinance, and if an exemption is, perhaps it should be a little clearer, if an exemption is granted, we should have, there should be notice that resident's not going to be taking care of the sidewalk.
Does that notice have to be like for every snowstorm or ice storm, or can they just kind of do a standing, whether
Well, I
it's
guess if
for the
we've granted
season
an
or
exemption,
something?
we should be aware
Well,
of it.
see, that's what
Yeah.
I was
It's
thinking.
kind of on our.
Yeah, so what I was thinking was the logic of it is, you know, let's say somebody has a need, a compelling need, they apply, they get an exemption, and therefore our DPW knows that if, you know, Mrs. Jones has that need, Mrs. Jones wouldn't need to notify us, we would just know and handle that.
So maybe strike the notice.
So, yeah, so that's why I didn't see if it, so,
Yeah,
yeah, so
I-
I was,
Cause I read that as like every time there was an event, they
Right.
had to apply
and that would be
for a
burdensome
notice,
and not what we're
which, yes.
thinking. Did you, was there someone? missing
No,
something?
I read it as they need to tell us before the snowstorm happens. Like, we don't need a
That's
phone
what we
call
were
after
writing,
6 feet of
yeah,
snow,
we're
like,
saying.
hey, now I can't shovel.
Well, but if they have an
Yeah.
exemption, why would they need to call us?
No, yeah, but
You're
we're
saying
not saying don't
permanent
ask for the
exemption, right?
exemption after the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the way I'm reading it is, let's say I'm disabled and I can't work a shovel or a snowplow. I would apply for an exemption, and then that's gonna exist for as long as I own the place or I'm controlling it. So then I wouldn't call if there's a snow, I wouldn't have to worry.
right, but I think the point was we don't want them the first time calling us to be right after a massive snowstorm.
Well, I
Like,
think we wanna,
yeah.
see, I would say, my suggestion would be, instead of putting that in the ordinance, once we pass this, we would put a notice out saying, hey, you know, it's never too early, and in fact, would
Yeah.
you please apply now
Yeah.
so that you'll be protected
And
before
that
the
kinda,
snow
that
comes?
kinda goes into our warning, cause we have a written warning for the first violation, so if
Yes.
someone's not clearing it,
Yes.
we send them a warning, that's
Yes.
usually gonna prompt them to say, hey, I have the physical disability or
Right.
something, because
Yes.
they've gotten the warning.
Yeah, and I like the fact that there's built in, you know, disabilities or compelling needs, a warning for a first issue, people get used to it, and then, as you've laid out, Mike, you know, we have our DPW to be available to help folks who need it, you know, if they have an exemption, so.
So I guess Dante has two requests. One is to strike the last sentence of 97-14.
Right, and then
Notice, and
put in that replacement
second,
language.
to put in the replacement language.
So I guess the way you could say it is that language that I read would completely replace the
Correct.
entire,
Correct.
Do you
section
want the
96.
hardship to be like a physical disability, or
No,
I was
either.
thinking
So
only,
I'll read it again.
I
It's-
was only thinking ability to, because they can hire a service, right?
Well, what I did was the way I phrased it was gives the township the discretion that they may issue
Like an exemption.
an exemption
Okay.
if there's a hardship or a compelling need. So that way the township can sort out.
Okay.
And so basically, if someone has a legitimate concern, they can't afford to pay, and they've got a bad back,
Right.
it's no issue. We just issue
Exempt it.
that. If it's not that, if it's something else, we don't have to do it. I was concerned that some of the language before basically said a resident is entitled to something, and that
Okay.
leaves the discretion out.
Yeah.
So that's one reason why I rewrote that language.
Okay.
So if that makes sense to folks, I would,
Are those changes we can make it? It's not hard, right?
yeah,
First reading.
Okay.
Send
So
it
I
to
would-
the-
yeah, I
The
will,
zoning
yes.
officer would enforce
So,
it.
What's that?
The zoning officer's gonna enforce it?
I
And
think.
who's
Yeah.
granting the exemption? The zoning officer?
I would think that's a township
That's-
committee
yeah, township
decision,
committee
right?
thing.
Mayor or designee or a
Yeah.
township committee?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be fine with
Yeah,
that.
so if that, is that in there anywhere? Who's the hearing?
It's not, so maybe we say exemptions will be determined by the township committee, mayor, or designee.
And so folks know that are listening, by the way, and even committee members, Dante and I met with,
RVAC.
yeah, Amwell Valley, Ringo's Advisory Committee. One of the members, or more than one of the members, literally walked every house and took a note of who shoveled and didn't shovel. That doesn't mean they might not have been home. A lot of people go away for the winter. And there was probably 5 or 6, and we had, I don't remember the exact numbers, but there was more than a handful of folks that didn't clear the sidewalk. And from time to time, people do complain that they had to walk on the road to get around these properties because we had some pretty deep snow this year. Typically, you don't hear about these things in the last 10 years because we haven't had that kind of snow. But when I looked into it, I did find it concerning that that we didn't have the ability to make sure folks shoveled their sidewalks. So I think this ordinance pushes us in that direction. And really, we want compliance. Nobody wants to fine anybody for not shoveling the sidewalk. We just want folks to shovel it so somebody doesn't have to walk on the road when they're walking their dog. All right.
So Mike.
So with those changes, we'll still move it forward, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So I would say I would make the motion to introduce this ordinance with the change that I described.
Okay, and you have those notes, Frank?
I'll
too?
send them to
Okay,
Frank.
and then you reread it. All right, so can I please have a motion to introduce ordinance number 2616 with the changes that we discussed with a public hearing date of July 9th, 2026?
So moved.
Motion by Jenna, seconded by,
Second.
See ya?
you did it again?
Yeah. No, I didn't do it again. I made a motion and you asked for someone to make a motion.
That's true,
It's
I
okay.
did.
I just feel like chopped liver, but I'm good with it.
I don't
I
realize
missed
you're
that one
doing
too,
that.
sorry.
That's not you, that's me.
So
All right,
it's-
who we had, Jenna
It's
and,
just funny. I need to
all right,
laugh.
Jenna and Al first and
Yes.
seconded Dante's motion, not
No,
mine.
no,
Yeah.
Jenna
Well,
has
I'm
to-
reading off the thing. It says, can I have a motion?
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
yeah.
Now I
That's what I'm
understand.
doing. That's why I'm doing it.
I
Yeah.
understand.
I'm just focused on the red, not
It's
on you.
all good.
Okay. 14.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Now I'm done with that. We're done with all that. All right. Consent agenda. I'm going to move 2 things off to be held for conversation. So item number 14, consent agenda. Can I please have a motion to approve resolutions 2026-90 through 2026-01 while removing, I want to remove 2691 and 2692.
91 and 96 are off.
Yes, so 2690 and then 2693 through 101. And we're going to remove for discussion 91 and 92. So can I have a motion
Ooh, I move.
to approve resolutions with those 2 exceptions? Dante and,
I'll second.
you
There
sure?
go.
All right.
Hold on.
Go
Ms.
ahead.
Casper Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Enton?
Yes.
Mr. Nardi?
Yes.
Mayor Dendis?
Yes. So, All right, I forgot the all in favor, anyone opposed, but we already voted. Okay. 2691, resolution authorizing the execution of a shared police service agreement between the Township of Delaware and the Township of East Amwell. Questions?
So, Mike, thanks for taking this off so we could have this discussion. I was one thing I wanted to raise, I'm in favor of taking advantage of the opportunity to use our neighboring police force to help us ramp up traffic calming. It's been an important initiative we had, and I think it's a good idea. The one question I wanted to open for discussion is, I note that the term lasts until the end of December 2028, so that's 2.5 years. And the only early termination provision says mutual agreement of the parties.
Okay.
And this is a new concept, and we're trying it out new, and there's some discretion in there about where it'll happen and how it works, and so my thought was, I'd feel more comfortable if there were an early termination provision that said, it's a term for 2.5 years till the end of 2028, but perhaps either party could terminate on 30 days notice or something to make sure that it's working well instead of locking ourselves in. I don't know in your discussions with our sister municipality and the police chief whether that issue came up, but if it truly requires mutual assent of the parties, either party can veto it and require it to go the full term.
So, totally understand what you're saying. My understanding of the agreement is this: if we don't choose to hire them this month or next month, then we don't hire them. They're not forced
No, let's
us
say
on.
we hire them and they start doing it, but it really doesn't work out. They don't have the officers actually available, or it's not having a good impact on educating drivers and getting compliance. And we say, we don't want to be locked into this for the rest of the 2.5 years. We have no option to get out unless they would say, oh, we agree. And if they don't agree, we can't get out of it.
So the way, I understand what you're saying. The way I am seeing it, and maybe I'm wrong, is this just gives us the opportunity to hire them up until the end of 2028. If we never,
We're not bound to give 2 shifts.
that's right.
Up
That's
to
the way
2
I
shifts
see it. But
now.
unless you're
So
seeing
we
something,
tell them when we want to implement it.
so
is the agreement clear on that they're only showing up in a week if we're asking?
yes, that's my understanding. But if you're seeing something legally in there that I didn't see,
Well, there were a number of things that when you and I spoke, I had said I was concerned that, in my opinion, a lot of it was calling for mutual agreement of parties on things, and I thought we should have more control to set when they're coming out. And I noticed it didn't get into this draft, which I'm okay with, so long as we're not essentially getting locked in. So maybe I ask it this way: let's see if Frank can look to that provision. Let's make sure that provision is clear, that we're only getting services in a particular month or week or whatever it is, if we're agreeing that that's what we want.
so that's my understanding. But will Frank review the legal
Well,
language?
he's probably peeking right now. I mean, maybe he can reassure me.
And again, this agreement, aside from this language, is what we've had historically. We're not changing that. This is just the underlying portion that you see, what with these 2 shifts for the traffic targeting, is that we want to be clear that this is not to happen without our express authorization.
Right. So, and just to give
maybe 1 month we want to say, listen, we're going to authorize 1 shift.
Right.
Or
Maybe 1 month none, maybe 1 month
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
So the reason the 2
well,
got
can
in
we-
there is because they needed an expectation, like how much coverage you guys looking for? And based on the money we set aside, I said, well, the average is about 2 shifts a month. Because if we said we want 1 shift a day, maybe they'd say, look, we can't do that if we were willing to spend that kind of money.
And didn't we also do this as a trial? Did we do a trial run for this? I thought like in April or May, or did
Well,
we not?
so
Or we talked about doing it?
Again, what I would say to that is, and I totally understand where you guys are coming from, is it's the agreement's in place, but if we don't decide to hire, then we're not forced to hire.
No, I thought we were doing like a 1 month trial that we already did. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought we had talked about maybe doing like a 1 month
talked about it.
trial.
Well, I think it's always going to be 1. Like if it doesn't work, then we
No,
don't
I
have to do
thought
it the next
maybe
month.
that we already
Yeah.
did a 1 month trial, and I was wondering if it
No,
was
we haven't
successful.
hired them yet. No, we
Okay.
haven't hired them
Okay.
yet. So what would you like to see different, Dante?
Well,
Let's see if we could.
Give me one second to look at what the language says.
Because this is
and
the
I'll get it.
results of the legal people being involved. of
No,
what
I get
we-
it. Well, as you know, lawyers
Sorry,
do their
John.
best. Let's see.
Well, they have to protect
So,
themselves,
so
right?
let me read out loud and then we can maybe talk out loud. So the paragraph Frank's referring to is subsection D, and it says, on a monthly basis, Delaware has agreed to offer up to 2-hour shifts of its
4-hour
officers,
shifts.
2 4-hour shifts to its officers for traffic enforcement. What it doesn't say clearly to me is whether we're the one that decides whether we're accepting those shifts or not. It just says East Amwell has agreed to pay for the shifts at the officer's current off-duty hourly rate. That sort of suggests that we're getting both shifts. On a monthly basis reports, the Delaware chief retains sole discretion to assign the police officer, so that might suggest that the Delaware police chief is deciding whether he's sending folks for those 2 shifts. So, I mean, can we put something in there that says, on a monthly basis, Delaware Township has, I'm reading that, has agreed to offer up to 2 4-hour shifts of thing, to be accepted at the discretion of East Elmore Township.
Is that something you think you can work out, Frank, with their attorney?
Yeah.
I think this is what they passed, but they can amend it.
Well, my sense of it is, we're just looking for some language that would clarify what we think the agreement is, but make it clearer.
Yeah,
So
I
it's-
don't have a problem with that. I mean, I have an understanding of how, my expectation of how it works, but if we need to clarify something, and if Frank thinks that's doable and isn't gonna, hurt it, then let's make it, I understand where you're coming from. You just wanna make it like, so they're not just sending 2
Yeah.
people at their discretion. when
Yeah.
they
Until
want.
2028.
Because
Right.
otherwise, it might be that if they've got the staff, they're gonna send for 2 shifts, and that's really not what your understanding is, so.
It's not, and but I didn't look at it from that perspective, so.
You know lawyers are looking careful.
Well, that's fine.
So then the question for me is, so if that's the case, I think Bev might be on the same page from her comment, do we wanna look at this provision, let's see, where was the, early terminations, so, Section 8, termination. This agreement may be terminated at any time by written agreement of the parties. So then the question is this just such a good deal, we're definitely sure we're gonna do this for 2.5 years? Or do we want something which says, if we don't think it's working for East Amwell Township or taxpayers, we have the ability to terminate with notice to them?
I don't have a problem with that. Again, I just saw it as, it's an agreement that is up to 2028. If we don't hire, then they don't come. But if you're looking at it from perspective, if this deal's in place, the way you're reading it, he may just send 2 people a month no matter what. That's not my understanding. So I think maybe if you're reading it that way, then maybe we should get some clarification on it. But that's not my understanding, so. And that's not the intention of it. We would call and say, hey, Delaware Chief, we're looking for Saturday, make up July 5th.
Well, my point is, the different thing between the whether you want it this month or not, this month or not, is strictly speaking, I think, a different issue from whether you want the agreement to remain in existence. I guess
So I would
the pros and cons would be, well, maybe it's not really working out for us at all, so we just don't request any for months and months, but then you still have an existing contract for 2.5 years. So, let me ask it this way, okay, so Frank, do you think in your discussions, Delaware Township would find it unacceptable if we put in an early termination on 6
Or just change it to say that it can be terminated
By
at any
either
time
party.
by either party
Yeah.
upon written notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an objectionable thing for them? If not, I would then say, I would move the 2 changes I mentioned. I'd move it with those 2 changes, and then the worst that happens is if they're not totally in agreement, they'd say, well, come back another time and we'll work out one final version.
Yeah, I don't foresee that being a problem.
And
but,
I was just making a motion there, just so you know, if you look.
Is that a motion?
So I would make
All right.
the motion to approve the resolution.
With those
With those
changes.
2 changes, yeah.
How does that work though? Because we can't guarantee they're gonna agree to those changes.
Yeah, should
Well,
we
so
wait
we
till-
pass it, and then Frank
Well,
talks to
sure,
them,
I'll
and
send
if
it
they
to
don't
them.
agree with it, then we just come back and do it something else.
What you're looking for is a clarification that they don't just automatically send 2 cops at their will.
We have to approve the monthly
Right.
shifts.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it'd be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
because I
agreement.
had some conversations with the chief, the lieutenant, the mayor, and maybe we even talked to their attorney about it, and the understanding's clear, like, we'll tell you when to come,
So I would expect when they see what we've done, they would say, oh yeah, that clarifies and that's correct.
Yeah.
But if for some reason they don't, they can just tell us and we can just revisit it the next
Yeah.
time.
I think that's fair. All right, so Dante has a motion, Dante has a motion, not me, to approve this
Or do you wanna table this entirely and just let me reach out and see if we can?
I would say go ahead because I don't think they're gonna have a problem given
Okay.
what you guys think. But that's just my.
Then the next
Yeah.
question is, because we're not gonna see each other again, if they agree, if you make a phone call tomorrow or whenever, and they agree to it, can we start to call to hire immediately?
All right, I'll make the changes and, because we're approving it
With
with
those
these
two
changes. So I'll
changes,
make the changes and I'll transmit it to them and say, we've approved it with
Yeah.
these changes.
Yeah,
Please
and make sure you're
ratify it
on,
your end.
if so ratified, yeah.
Okay,
This is how lawyer
No
work
problem.
works, isn't it?
Yep,
no
it is,
problem.
no charge.
I'm cop world, just send me 2 dudes, that's what we need, so.
It's true.
All right. 2692.
Second
So
the
wait,
motion.
We got a second from Jen, I think.
Second. There you go.
Now what?
Anything else we wanna vote?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Casper Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Enton?
Yes.
Mr. Nardi?
Yes.
Mayor Dendis?
Yes. All right, we also pulled off 2692. This is the resolution authorizing the execution of a shared service snow and ice remediation roadway agreement between the Township of Delaware and the Township of East Amwell. This is a change to a long-standing agreement from the 1990s. This is going to bring us back to the surface agreement that you and I talked about.
Yeah.
What you have on that one?
So on this one, I have a couple things. So, I'll just do them in order. It's not in priority order, but just in order reading through the document. So in
Did
the
you work on this, Frank? This one too, or is this the one that Jen and I?
No, he wrote this.
We-
No.
Okay.
Yeah, this,
It came in and.
They
when the-
passed it already
Yeah.
on their end.
Well, yeah,
So
because I
it's-
think they
it's
had
their
to.
shared service agreement.
Right.
and
So we're
I
just
changed
deciding
it,
whether they're gonna
and
accept
I-
it.
And I made a couple modifications to it.
All right, so go ahead.
so in the whereas clauses, I read whereas clauses for a resolution that we would perhaps use today, and I saw whereas clauses in the contract. I think the ones that are accurate are the ones in the resolution. So I would use those, not the ones that are in the proposed agreement itself. So that's one. Article 1, in my opinion, it should create what the lawyers call a term of art, which is, quote, snow and ice remediation responsibilities, end quote. Because
Okay.
that term is used elsewhere in the document. So
Okay.
if in Article 1 we define that and define it clearly, therefore when that term is used later, everybody knows it's that one definition. And I think, we should strive to define that as objectively as possible for whatever the parties agree means snow, ice remediation, including plowing, salting, and sanding.
Okay.
So that's Article 1. And I'll send this to Frank afterwards. Article 2, this article provides that each party gets discretion to determine if work will be done. This article also provides, quote, no particular level, frequency, or quality, end quote, of the work. And so to me, this is really problematic, because it gives no assurance that the other township is gonna do any work at all.
Okay.
And if it does it, like what it will do, or do something of adequate quality. And to me, this is even more important because, as you recall, we had the shared border roads maintenance agreement.
Right.
And the other town took the view that it didn't have to do any maintenance. And so they've included the same exact overbroad language here, which means we might do all the snowing and plowing and salting because we're taking it seriously. They may choose not to. In addition, they're gonna say no particular level, frequency, or quality of the work is required. And what that means is we do a great job on the roads we're responsible for and they don't, and they're gonna say there's nothing to hold us to. So for me, there's no assurance that it's gonna be the proper work or that it'll be done. So for me, we have to fix Article 2 to replace it with an objective standard. And
Okay.
maybe if we chat with Jason, who's our expert on those issues, figure out
What that language
what,
is.
yeah,
and-
what is required? Like, what do we use when we determine whether we're plowing or de-icing or whatever on a road?
I think like private companies say an inch or more, we come.
Yeah,
like,
so-
whatever
something
his standard
objective.
is. Yeah, that's not
Because the
unreasonable.
parties in a contract don't want to be fighting over whether it is an obligation or
We
not.
think we got 3/4 of an inch, we're not coming out. that
Well,
type of
look,
stuff.
if it's an inch thing, that's objective to me, that can
Right.
be figured out, and then it's a fine. But the fact that the language they have, I don't think it's sufficient. And then in Article 3, there's the use of a term, quote, routine maintenance, end quote. And that's not a term that's in this document elsewhere. And so that needs to be replaced with the term, quote, snow and ice remediation responsibilities, which is what I was saying we clearly define in Article 1.
So they might have cut and pasted the other
Yeah.
one.
I think it probably comes from the old agreement.
Yeah.
And as you remember, there was disagreement on what routine maintenance is,
Yeah.
which is why this needs to be objective.
That's why we are where we are.
Yeah. And then finally, in Article 4, we will recall that the previous border share agreement with the two towns, there was a problem with notice when West Elmwood's, the other township's attorney sent an email to you as a
Right.
committee person and didn't get confirmation that you even got the email.
Right.
So
It went to that spam folder.
it
thing.
went to spam. So I think the clear way to handle notice is to get rid of the email thing and say, if there's notice,
There's email in there right now? It says
yes.
email. Okay.
So instead,
Should be
strike
written.
the email and say, notice under this agreement needs to be limited to notice delivered via certified mail, return receipt requested, addressed to the clerk of the other party. That way, it's gonna be by mail, it's
should
gonna be
be- yeah.
certified, it's gonna go to
To
the
the
clerk.
professional, that's fine.
And that clerk can give it to a professional. So those are my suggested changes. I'll send it to Frank and
And that's
maybe.
something you'll try to work out with, I think his name is Joe, the attorney. Okay, I think it's reasonable, yeah, that. So for the folks listening, by the way, this is the road agreement. We share road, one side of the road might be East Amwell, the other side of the road is Delaware Township. To ensure that we plow, not only just plow our side, if we plow it at 9 o'clock in the morning, they may not come and plow their side until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, let's say, so that leaves one side open, one side not. This agreement takes those contiguous roadways, where we'll take responsibility for both sides of some roads, and they'll take responsibility for both sides of some of our roads. So this is just for snow plowing and salting, and this has been an agreement they've had since the 90s that's been modified to eliminate like maintenance and paving and pothole stuff to, well, maybe potholes might be in here, but surface conditions like snow and salting, so make sure both sides get open. That's what the debate is about, and proper legal language to have a standard, right? When are you coming out? Like, Jason may come out on our end, but they may say, no, we're not coming out. So I think that's fair and reasonable, and pretty good catches too, so. Okay, so this is your motion, right, to amend this.
So I guess my suggestion would be that we just hold this.
Hold this one.
today,
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I send these items
right.
to Frank. Frank
Okay.
confers with their township attorney, and then he can report back
Okay.
where we are to you before the meeting, and you'll see whether it's something we can queue up.
So is that do you make a motion to hold this one, or is just get,
Yeah, so I have a
Motion
motion to table
okay.
with that course of action.
so somebody second, somebody has to,
make the motion.
okay, somebody has to second it?
I'll second that one, Don.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, so we're gonna table 2692. I don't think it's.
Just that one, right? Not the other one?
No, the other one looks
Okay.
like, that seems to be just some clarification. Again, I'm not expecting the chief to say, hey, I got 2 guys free, they're coming over today. That's not my understanding, but let's get that cleared up. I'm not worried about snow. It was 93 today, so I think we got some time to work this one out. All right, so we're all through that. New business. I kind of touched on it before. I'd like to ask the committee if they mind me pursuing with Keystone if to get some prices for a basketball court for Clausen Park, a separate basketball court. No guarantee we're going to do it, but I'd like to at least look into it to see if it's feasible and something the committee might want to pursue. So
Great idea.
right now it's just discussions, but we'll see what the numbers look like, and then I'll bring it back to you guys.
Sounds good.
Other new business, I just want to put on the radar of the committee, if you guys don't already know, and the residents, 2027, it looks like the year we're going to have to do a reassessment, a townwide tax reassessment. It hasn't been done in over 17 years. We might have an extension to 28. I talked to the tax assessor today. It is something we're aware of. It is something we prepared for in this budget, and we're gonna have to prepare over the next couple years in a budget to pay for this. But I'm putting it out there now on the radar, a few months early. But since I had a conversation with the tax assessor about it today, I figured I'd put it out there so folks have it on the radar when it comes up next year. That looks like what we're gonna end up doing. All right, item 16.
Oh, I have some new.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah. I thought I was the only one with anything.
So two things. So Bev and I, we logged in, we had the town got that community energy plan grant for like $10,000. They finally got all their ducks in a row, and Bev and I logged in for their first meeting. It was with Sustainability New Jersey. It was a lot of information. There's a lot of different projects we can pursue and stuff, so they're gonna, I think, email us some paperwork to look at. We'll share it with the Environmental Commission and then kind of regroup and see what we wanna focus on. I don't know if Bev had anything she wanted to add or not.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks for logging on, yeah.
We got Bev in a lot of meetings.
I know, we did.
No, I jumped on and I was like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it was a lot, yeah. And then also just, this isn't really new business, but this is just an update on our capital projects. So in our consent resolutions, we awarded contracts to do the stucco repair and also the repair to the stairs and the ramp. They went out to bid. We awarded to the two lowest that we have to do. So those should be hopefully started at some point soon. We might see some construction done. There was the ordinance to add more money so we can work on paving the parking lot. Right now, that's kind of an estimate. We had some different pricing. It hasn't gone out to bid yet. So hopefully we'll be able to maybe use a little less money. But now that we've moved it to an ordinance, we can hopefully go out to bid and see what it's gonna cost to do the paving. Mountain Road, there's also in our consent resolution, on that should be starting at some point. I think that's done with everything. DOT's through, like, we're good to go on that.
Got the contract back signed.
Yeah.
Bid bond, certificate of insurance, I'm just waiting to hear back from Rob.
Yeah, perfect. So that'll get moving for the section 2 and 3 of Mountain Road, yeah. North Hill Road is still with DOT, waiting to hear back from them. The shade, finally, someone from the shade company went out today to Clausen Park to talk to our DPW guy about where we're gonna install it. Al can add on to this, but Al did a lot of work getting the permits moving from construction and zoning. I think we'd still be waiting if Al didn't actually go over to the West Amwell construction office and also talk to Tammy. So thanks, Al, for doing that and getting it moving, and hopefully it'll be up this summer.
It seems like some of these companies we have to beg to take our money. Doesn't it? Like, well, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's Al and I.
It's hard to get these folks to even call you. It's hard to get folks to call you back and do what they say they're gonna do. But Al worked hard on it. Jenna's literally running most of these grants, and she spends quite a bit of time on it. And
So
by the end of the summer, we should see a lot of stuff. Sorry.
Good.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So as far as the shade goes, I came in on Tuesday, spoke to Tammy, got the zoning permit. Next morning, I ran to West Amwell. Here's the permit. What do we need to do? And they needed the contractor to pay the fees. So I got totally frustrated and took out my wallet and just paid it myself. Got the packet, brought it back here to Linda, and we tried to contact our Vic, the contractor, to install it. So it's out of my hands. I mean, if you want to put pressure on them or whatever, but like Jenna said, it'd be great to have it done by summer because it's blazing hot.
But I mean, Vic went today, so they looked it over at Clausen Park.
Fingers crossed that it gets done.
Yeah, and you have to install the
Yeah.
footing, and then they have to measure it, and the shade gets ordered like 2 or 3 weeks later. So we are, like I said, Al and I are just ganging up as much as
my head
possible.
against the wall on this one.
So hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll see a new tennis court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shade
for the large playground, new steps here. I don't know if the parking lot will be paved, stucco repaired, and a couple roads paved by the end of by the fall anyway, for sure. So
for Sunday, for the Flag Day / America's 250th birthday parade, it's downtown Flemington. Those who are participating in the parade muster at 1 o'clock by the monuments in downtown Flemington, and we march. But it's going to be a big one. So George Washington's going to be there in his full outfit, which will be cool. I'm going to dress up and probably have heat stroke with my wool coat. It's all good. Yeah, lots of Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. There are going to be 2 regiments of the Hunterdon Militia. There's going to be the Dragoons for the Redcoats, and then there's going to be some Civil War reenactors marching. So
the Hunterdon Marching Band
Yeah,
will be
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Marching
So
Red
it's going to
Devils.
be kind of cool. my opinion.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
I'm also a dork, so.
No, it's great.
I like that stuff.
I'll be
All
there.
right, that's it.
All right. Anybody have anything else new? All right, 16, that's approval of bills. Administrative reports, correspondence are in the
We need a
packet.
motion-
Wait,
We need a motion to approve the bills.
It's not on here. Oh, I'm on
Yeah,
the
it
wrong
is.
one. Linda, stop giving me two. All right, new business we did. I'm reading the wrong one. Can I please have a motion to approve the June 11th, 2026 bills of the evening? Motion by,
It's May 13th approval of
Yeah.
bills.
Oh, shoot. No, that's
Yeah.
wrong.
yeah.
That's wrong. It
On
should
ours?
be June 11th.
It should be, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
change that.
I got June 11th on here. You're saying I couldn't
No,
even.
you are right.
Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day too, right? So that happens. All right, so change the, at most, what's the date that you want?
June 11th, today.
So I have the right date.
We can just put that in the form, by the way, so instead of changing it each time, we could just say, approve the
Yeah.
bill of the evening for tonight.
Okay. All right, yeah, motion by
Jenna,
Jenna and seconded by,
Dante.
all in favor?
I,
Anyone opposed?
Ms.
Alright.
Casper Bloom,
yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Ms. Enton.
Yes.
Mr. Nardi.
Yes.
Mayor Dendis.
Yes. All right, number 17, approval of administrative reports. Can I please have a motion to approve the administrative reports? Motion by
So moved.
Al,
I'll take that one.
Second.
Bev. All in favor?
I,
Anyone opposed? All right, this meeting is now open to the public. Anybody from the public? Come on up. Hello.
Good evening, Joan McGee. Tonight I want to discuss ethics. First, I want to thank Mayor Dendis for taking a morally courageous stand recently in the face of community opposition. It takes courage to do the right ethical thing and avoid even the appearance of impropriety. So thank you, Mayor. Next, I want to give you a hypothetical which could present ethical problems for the Township Committee. This is a hypothetical situation where there is a Township Committee member whose husband is on the school board. This is not a per se violation of ethics laws, but there must be a firewall between the actions of both the hypothetical Township Committee member and her hypothetical husband on the school board. In this hypothetical, the spouse, who is paid member of the Township Committee, cannot be on any board, committee, commission, or liaison to the school where her husband is the board president. That means she cannot organize, advertise, or be in charge of any events in the Recreation Committee, the Township Committee, the Green Team, tree lighting, Clawson Park events, if the school or school staff is contacted or participates in any event. There can be no participation at all regarding any zoning issues, including adopting ordinances or variances in any area near the school. So this person is this hypothetical person is also not allowed to be participating on the planning board unless they will be abstaining or recusing themselves. For this hypothetical, you will have to be vigilant in scrutinizing the bill list. This hypothetical person cannot vote to approve any bills that are related to the school. There are also extensive prohibitions about what this hypothetical person does at the school if she is a Township Committee member. You have no control over what the school does, but there are even more ethical problems if she is volunteering or running charity events at the school. It may seem as though it is a good thing to have people volunteer for everything in the township because of their contacts and their caring volunteerism. And I am not questioning the motives for volunteerism. But it is not a good thing in this hypothetical because there are obvious conflicts of interest based on the possibility that this hypothetical person is extensively participating in school and PTO events. There are even worse ethical problems. For example, hypothetically, if there is a township committee official who works at the school, for example, hypothetically, as a student teacher, and is also paid by an environmental group. This means there have to be firewalls between all three, between the township committee, between the environmental group, and between the school. This is even a worse ethical problem. As I said before, there are no per se ethics violations from just being on a township committee and having your husband on the board. They can both steer clear of ethical problems if they sever joint relationships with these entities. For a real-life example, there was an appointment of a board member a couple years ago as the liaison to the township committee. The township committee's husband refused to accept the position because he knows that it is a conflict if his wife is on the township committee. And the spouse on the township committee is not on any committee that has events, activities with the school. Instead, she is on the farmland committee and the environmental commission, and not on activities which interact with the school. These people have demonstrated ethical behavior. I was completely perplexed that the school did not understand this issue when they were trying to appoint other members as liaison. This is not political. This is not directed at any political party, but at potential unethical behavior. That's why I am appealing to you. You have control over your appointments. You have no control over what's going on at the school, but believe me, I am watching them. You have to consider the possibility that you will be dealing with potential unethical behavior. The other thing is, I absolutely want to thank you for not cutting me off in the middle of a sentence. It is just not courtesy, but you have a genuine interest in what residents' comments. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else tonight? Nothing? All right, seeing there are no further comments, I'd like to close this meeting to the public without objection.
Mike, I just want to say, so
Not paid.
just in terms of,
We're not paid.
yeah, that's true. That's true, Al. We don't take pay. But also, Township Committee doesn't deal in hypotheticals. I don't know what the comments were about hypotheticals. Obviously, if an issue arises that raises potential ethical issues, we refer that to seek an opinion. And, I guess there's no issue before us. So I'm not sure why the issues come up. And, finally, we all know that whatever this hypothetical situation is, the Township Committee and the school board are completely separate legal entities. One doesn't govern the other. There are no ethical provisions, I guess as the statement was acknowledged, that there are any ethical provisions which prevent somebody from serving on both or spouses or family members. I'm not aware of any of that. So if something were to arise in the future, I know as a Township Committee we'd seek an ethical opinion. So I don't know what the comments are related to, but I think it should be just clear that, we don't deal in hypos, and there aren't ethical limits that apply to these separate entities which govern themselves. So that's my only comment.
Anybody else? All right. Before I close, anybody from the public? All right. Seeing there are no further comments, I'd like to close this meeting to the public without objection. There being no further business, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by
So moved.
Al, seconded by
All right, Bev.
Bev, and carried unanimously to adjourn the meeting at, what is that?
8:40.
8:40. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Good meeting.